of great concern. Organized crime also poses a significant threat to peace and security and also undermines regional economic integration. It is therefore imperative that SADC member states continue to cooperate and undertake joint initiatives to address this menace of great concern to all of us. Gender-based violence also continues to adversely impact on the socio-economic development of our region. A study undertaken by the SADC Secretariat on Gender-Based Violence in the region, among others, shows that gender-based violence is a common phenomenon in SADC. Prevalence rates vary across member states, with physical violence ranging from 6 to 34%, it is very high. Sexual violence from 4 to 26% is equally high, and emotional violence from 15% to 37%. With everyone's commitment, we can eradicate this unacceptable practice of gender-based violence. Your Excellencies, during the year, SADC remains seized with the implementation of SADC industrialization agenda that is anchored on technological and socio-economic transformation as a means of addressing poverty, inequality, and the underdevelopment that bedevil our region and the continent at large. Industrialization remains the topmost priority of our region. Effective industrialization requires partnership between public sector and private sector and the other regional and international partners. The private sector is the engine of development as it creates jobs, undertakes economic production, contributes to government revenue, and helps to lift the living standard of our people. The 39th summit theme, a conducive environment for inclusive and sustainable industrial development, for increased intra-regional trade and job creation, is very timely. For the private sector to drive our industrialization agenda, it needs to be competitive, adaptive, and plugged into regional and global value chains. This requires knowledge-based capabilities, appropriate skills and technologies, infrastructure to leverage industrialization, as well as regional and national policies to support private sector development and effective functioning. Both the COMESA EAC SADC Tripartite Free Trade Area that was launched in 2015 and the African Continental Free Trade Area, whose agreement entered into force on the 30th May of 2019, will require that the private sector in the SADC region is positioned to compete and utilize the opportunities from these expanded free trade zones of over 1.2 billion people. In order to enhance public-private partnership and anchor the industrialization process, we have introduced SADC annual business industrialization weeks. The industrialization weeks bring together different stakeholders to showcase innovative entrepreneurial ventures in the region, promote experience sharing, and encourage the brokerage of investment partnership. This year's Industrialization Week was held very successfully on the 5th to the 9th of August in Dar es Salaam, during which the SADC Business Council was launched. The private sector is therefore encouraged to use this platform and contribute to the SADC development agenda. Tunaishukuru sana serikali ya Jamhuri ya Muungano ya Tanzania na wadau wote walioshiriki katika kongamano hili, lakini hasa kwa maandalizi mazuri yaliyofanywa na serikali ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Ilikuwa ni kongamano ambalo lilileta watu wengi sana, haijawahi kutokea tangu tumeanza makongamano haya. Your Excellencies, as part of the implementation of SADC Industrialization Strategy and Roadmap 2015-2063, a protocol on industrial and mining vision and action plan were developed during the year. The regional mining vision aims at optimizing sustainable extraction and development of mineral resources that are abundant in our region, On the other hand, the protocol on industrial seeks to promote diversified, innovative, and globally competitive regional and national industrial bases. Recognizing the contribution of small and medium enterprises, the Secretariat, in collaboration with the UN Economic Commission, UNECA, conducted a study on small and medium-scale enterprises. The study will be used to develop a framework to enable SMEs to be among the key drivers of industrialization. While we celebrate the progress made, it is important to critically analyze the pace at which we are moving and acknowledge that our manufacturing sector remains slow. The sector grew by 4.3% in 2018 as compared to 4.6% in 2017. And the share of the manufacturing sector value added to overall GDP for Sadc region was 19.9% in 2018, slightly 11.5% and 11.2% in 2016 and 2017 respectively. This is a matter of concern, considering that we are far from attaining the targets that we set for ourselves. As one of the targets outlined in the industrialization strategy, we committed to increase the share of manufacturing value added in GDP to 20% by 2020 and 40% by 2050. And we are still at 11%. We are only left with a few months before 2020. We therefore need to intensify our efforts if we are to reach the targets that we have committed to ourselves, and indeed if we are to industrialize. Given the slow growth of manufacturing sector, intra-SADC trade remains low. Intra-SADC imports declined from 21% in 2016-2017 to 20.6% in 2017-2018, while intra-SADC export declined from 24% to 22.4% over the same period. These data, what the data says is that indeed we are making progress, but we need also to intensify our efforts. Your Excellencies, in spite of the recorded progress, the road ahead of us is still long, and attention needs to be paid to a number of issues, among others, continued and concerted efforts in promoting macroeconomic stability and the consolidation in our macroeconomic stability consolidation in our region. This is essential to win business confidence and ensure predictability of in our economies. Addressing the energy deficit that the region continues to face, with many countries producing below installed capacities, it is important to diversify our energy sources, as energy is fundamental in powering industrialization. During the Industrialization Week, a number of us noted the efforts in developing Nyerere hydroelectric power project, and indeed we still commend this, and we believe this is the way to go. Addressing infrastructure gap, in doing so, enhance productivity and the ease cost of doing business. Concerted effort to enhance knowledge-based capacities and innovation to increase productivity as well. Giving more space and the policy priority to private sector, in particular the micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises. And lastly, giving special attention to gender equality and youth empowerment as means of leveraging the demographic dividend. May I also mention that SADC is undertaking the mid-term review of the revised Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan and the Strategic Indicative Plan for the organ. We have also begun the process of developing a new Regional Strategic Development Plan 2020-2030, a new SADC Vision 2050. These processes should provide us an excellent opportunity in articulating the SADC we want in the 21st century. Our overall aspiration should be to engineer a region that is strong, competitive, prosperous, resilient, economically transformed and developed, democratic and peaceful. These aspirations are consistent with the goals of the African Union Agenda 2063 and the United Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development, of leaving no one behind. And they are also in tune with the founders of our organization, Aspirations, where all the citizens enjoy high living standard and peace. Let us participate in shaping the SADC we want. As I conclude, allow me to extend our gratitude to the chairperson of SADC, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, President of the Republic of Namibia, for his exemplary leadership and the guidance during the year. Indeed, his leadership has been instrumental in attaining the success recorded by SADC during his tenure, some of which I have presented, but there are many I cannot present all of them as the SADC chairperson. We thank you very much, Your Excellency. May I also thank the chairperson of the organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation, His Excellency Edgar Chawalungu, President of the Republic of Zambia, for the outstanding guidance provided in the implementation of the work of the organ during the year. Let me also recognize and thank my Deputy Executive Secretaries and the Secretariat staff for their support and hard work that enabled the discharge of my duties and the delivery of the Secretariat mandate during the year. I thank you very much. Without you, I'm nothing. Allow me to express gratitude to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation under the leadership of Honorable Professor Parapagamba Kabudi, the Chairperson of Council, for the dedication that enabled the successful preparations of the summit and all preceding events. I think everybody can testament to that. You can verify that indeed the preparations were very good and the summit and all meetings were held very, very successfully. We thank you very much for that. At this juncture, allow me to congratulate and welcome the incoming chairperson, His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania. I wish to assure you, Your Excellency, that the Secretariats and my personal commitment and the professional services during your tenure as the chairperson of SADC. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza.
Nam ni katibu mtendaji wa SADC Stagomena Tax akizungumza katika mkutano huu na kueleza baadhi ya mambo ambayo yamefanyika katika kipindi chote cha kisifu, namna ambavyo wametekeleza baadhi ya mambo ikiwemo hali ya uchumi katika nchi za SADC kukua, Tanzania ikiwa ni mojawapo, lakini pia ameelezea kugusa namna ambavyo janga la kimbunga la Kennedy lilivyoleta madhara na kusema kwamba wanaendelea kuhakikisha kwamba wanaimarisha kile kitengo cha maafa ili kuhakikisha kwamba mambo yanakwenda vizuri. Kwa mujibu wa ratiba, Rais Dr. John Magufuli ndio anabidi sasa atoe neno la ukaribisho kwa wageni ambao wapo. Hebu tuendelee kumsikiliza MC wa shughuli ya leo aweze kutueleza zaidi nini ambacho kitakuwa kikiendelea.
It will be the President's son, so my apologies for that. It's the President who is here, not the son. Also, I did mention that we have former presidents in our midst. I would like to recognize that we have also the former presidents from the Zanzibar, His Excellency Dr. Amani Albedi Karume. We also have the former Vice President of Tanzania, His Excellency Dr. Garibu Bildi. Then we also have the current second Vice President of Zanzibar. One more confession. the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and International Trade from Mauritius. His name is His Excellency Nandokoma Boda. Thank you. On that note, allow me to invite our host, His Excellency President Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, to come and welcome us officially to the United Republic of Tanzania. Your Excellency, sir.
Na mwasa sasa wa Rais Dr. John Magufuli kuweza kuzungumza na hadhara hii, ikiwepo neno lake la ukaribisho kwa wahusika wote na wale wageni ambao wamefika. Tumsikize Rais Dr. John Magufuli.
Dr. Hage Geingob, President of Republic of Namibia and the Chairperson of Sadc. Your Excellencies, Head of States and the Government of Sadc. Your Excellencies, First Ladies, Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, Vice President of United Republic of Tanzania. Your Excellency Dr. Ali Mohamed Shein, President of Zanzibar and the Chairman of the Revolution Council. Your Excellency Kassim Majaliwa, Prime Minister of United Republic of Tanzania. Your Excellency Ambassador Seif Ali Idi, Vice President of Zanzibar. Excellencies, former Presidents Mzee Mwinyi, Mzee Mkapa, Mzee Kikwete, and Mzee Karume. Excellencies, former Vice President and former Prime Minister, and the other leaders here present. Your Lordship Professor Ibrahim Hamisi Juma, Chief Justice of Tanzania. Your Lordship Othman Makungu, Chief Justice of Zanzibar. Your Excellency Chairman of the Sadc Council of Ministers, Honorable Ministers here present, Your Excellency Dr. Stegomena, Tax Executive Secretary of the Sadc, Your Excellency Head of other regional and international organizations, Excellencies, Higher Commissioners and Ambassadors here present, distinguished delegates and other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the 17th August 2019, marks 17 years since the Southern Africa Development Coordination Committee was transformed into the current Southern Africa Development Community, SADC, in 1992. I therefore, on behalf of the government and the people of the United Republic of Tanzania, and indeed on my own behalf, wish a happy SADC Day to all the citizens of SADC. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in establishing these organizations in 1980, our founding fathers had one major objective, that is to fight and eradicate all forms of colonialism and racial segregations in this sub-region. Indeed, by the year 1994, the entire Southern Africa region was free from the yoke of colonialism and apartheid regimes. Allow me, therefore, to seize this opportunity to commend and pay tribute to those who contributed to this greatest achievement, especially all our founding fathers of this organization. While commending them, it also needs to say that one of the instruments that facilitated our struggle was the Swahili language. This noble language has since then continued to expand all over the world. Indeed, it is now the 10th most spoken language in the world, whereby in Africa it is widely spoken in 13 countries, including 6 in the SADC regions. the African Union, the East African Community, and recently the African Development Bank, and I'm happy to see the President of African Development Bank here, have already adopted it as either their working or official language. It is against this background that I would like to appeal to Your Excellencies to allow me to deliver my welcome remarks in Swahili. It's my sincere hope that by doing so, Your Excellencies will be convinced to consider and fast track the adoption of Kiswahili as the first official language of the Sadc. Since I see no objection to my request, I now switch into Swahili. For those who are unable to follow the language, don't worry. Interpretations facilities are available. Waheshimiwa wakuu wa nchi wenzangu, mabibi na mabwana, ni heshima kubwa kwangu kupata fursa hii ya kusimama mahali hapa kwa niaba ya serikali pamoja na Watanzania wote kwa kuwakaribisha wageni wetu, viongozi wenzangu wakuu wa nchi na serikali pamoja na ujumbe wenu kwenye mkutano huu wa 39 wa wakuu wa nchi na serikali za jumuiya yetu ya maendeleo kusini mwa Afrika. Kama mjuavyo, mkutano huu unafanyika ikiwa imepita miaka 20 tangu baba wa taifa letu Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, ambaye alikuwa miongoni mwa waanzilishi wa Sadc, afariki dunia. Hivyo basi, tunaahidi kushirikiana na nchi zote wanachama wa Sadc kuhakikisha kupitia mkutano huu ndoto na mawazo ya baba yetu wa taifa pamoja na viongozi wengine waanzilishi wa jumuiya hii yanaendelea kutekelezwa kwa vitendo. Baada ya kusema hayo, narudia tena kuwakaribisha waheshimiwa wakuu wa nchi kwenye mkutano huu wa 39 wa Sadc hapa Dar es Salaam, mahali penye amani na ambapo ni kitovu cha harakati za ukombozi barani Afrika. Mungu ibariki Sadc, Mungu ibariki Afrika. Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiliza.
Ni Rais Dr. John Magufuli huyu akitoa salamu za ukaribisho. Kumbuka kwamba yeye anapaswa kuwakaribisha wageni wake ambao wamekuja hii leo, na hicho ndicho ambacho amekifanya. Kwa hiyo ndio maana unaona hajatumia muda mrefu. Ameanza katika lugha ya Kiingereza, baadaye akasema ni kheri atumie lugha ya Kiswahili kwa sababu lugha ya Kiswahili imekuwa ikitumika zaidi sasa, na ni lugha ya 10 miongoni mwa lugha ambazo zinatumika zaidi katika dunia kwa sasa. Sasa kwa mujibu wa ratiba, baada ya Rais Dr. Magufuli kuzungumza, kinachotaka kufuata sasa ni ile band ama kwaya ya chuo kikuu cha Dar es Salaam ambayo ilipaswa kutoa neno.
Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Sadc Summit in Tanzania is also celebration of where Sadc and the ideals of Africanness and humanity were found. In doing so, the people of Tanzania are rallying behind the message that was delivered by His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Magufuli in celebrating Sadc and in celebrating Africanness. Providing that they could not all be here with you, esteemed delegates, we have provision for their recording. A recording that was done by young people of Tanzania, young artists, young musicians, and they're singing in Swahili. But all that is celebration of you delegates, what you have found, what you have built upon, and what you are going to lead for the future. Sadc is in our hands, esteemed delegates. Your Excellencies, I also as a son and daughter of Tanzania, on their behalf, I celebrate the idea of embracing Swahili or Kiswahili within the region. So I welcome you to follow the instructions, subtitles which are going to be given in English, but also to visit the Swahili booth, which will give you more about Swahili. And by the end of this meeting, I'm sure we'll all be fluent speakers of Swahili. I now welcome all Tanzania staff.
Kwa kuichagua Tanzania kuwa mwenyeji wa maadhimisho haya ya Sadc. Kwa kweli hii ni heshima kubwa kwa Tanzania. Asanteni sana.
Tunamshukuru na Kaunda, Mwalimu Nyerere na Mugabe walishirikiana tukavuka. Historia ile inanipa nguvu na inanikumbusha
rais mwenye uthubutu na kupenda, rais wa wote, rais asiogopa mafisadi Tanzania. Rushwa tumeiaga, si mwingine ni Rais Magufuli.
Indeed, the young people of Tanzania, they are welcoming you. Well, as we say in Swahili, karibuni Tanzania, karibuni tena nyumbani. Now I call upon Ms. Barbara to continue with the official program. Excellencies, Ms. Barbara.
Thank you, my sister Mindy. The next presentation will be a presentation from Dr. Vera Songwe, the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. A round of applause. So.
Ni wasa sasa wa kuzungumza Dr. Vera Songwe. Huyu ni Executive Secretary, katibu mtendaji wa Umoja wa Mataifa katika masuala ya uchumi kwa upande wa bara la Afrika.
Your Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, President of Namibia and Chairperson of Sadc. Your Excellency Dr. John Joseph Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, incoming Chairperson of Sadc, and our gracious host. Your Excellency, other members of government and head of state, honorable ministers, members of parliament, and members of the justice system. Your Excellency, the Sadc Executive Secretary, my sister, Dr. Stragomena Lawrence Starks, heads of other institutions, in particular my brother, the President of the Asian African Development Bank, Dr. Adesina, members of the UN family, private sector, the civil society, the youth, members of the media, first ladies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Habari za asubuhi. Good morning, bonjour, buen dia. I am pleased and feel highly honored to have been invited to address this august gathering on the opening of the 39th Ordinary Summit of Heads of States of the Sadc region. To begin with, allow me to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency President John Joseph Magufuli and the government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania for the warm hospitality extended to me and our delegation and the hills of the Kilimanjaro. I would also like to acknowledge the significant contributions made by the outgoing Sadc chairperson, and I think my sister Dr. Tax has already re-emphasized that, so I wouldn't go through that in the interest of time. But thank you, President Hage Geingob, for everything you've done during your chairmanship. I must say the theme of this summit, a conducive business environment for inclusive and sustainable industrial development, is well-timed and resonates very well with the current economic developments across the continent. And therefore, I would like to congratulate the heads of states and government for adopting this. I would like to couch my speech on the 4 headings: the global context, the trade issues and industrialization, the state of the people of the Sadc region, and the question of competitiveness. And the global context, I think we have all seen the trade wars that are happening across the world and are particularly impacting on our continent, not directly, but through monetary policy, because our competitiveness is weakening. We must ensure, therefore, that as the rest of the world slows, and as growth generally slows because of the trade wars and because of diminishing productivity in the developed world, which has been a source of growth for the continent, and as well in China. As we know, China used to grow much faster, a double-digit growth. Today, China is growing at 6 and 7%. It is not enough to power our continent. We therefore must look inside. We must ensure that as we move forward together on the continent. And I think it is for this reason that we celebrate the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, because it allows us as Africans to come back within, to look inside of us, to be able to find the sources of growth we need to ensure that our continent continues to be prosperous. We are 10 years away from the SDGs, and many of our countries will not meet the SDGs. The SDGs have one line: we must leave no one behind. and we are not there yet. I think, as my sister said, growth on the continent is slow. The Sadc region promised 7% growth by 2020. It is less than 4%. I think only a few countries are making the 7% growth, including Tanzania, and we congratulate Tanzania for that. We need to do more, we need to do better, we need to do faster to ensure that our people stay out of poverty. The speedy ratification of the Cfda is a clear sign that our leadership and the leadership of Sadc recognizes and realizes that industrialization, but more importantly, integration, is what is going to create jobs and generate prosperity for our people, in particular for our youth and for the women. Therefore, it is for this reason that we continue to emphasize and urge the rest of the countries that have not yet ratified the Cfda to join the community of the willing and ensure that we all get and move forward with this 1.2 billion market, which can create more jobs, create more prosperity for our people. The main purpose of the Cfda is really about that. It is about creating jobs. It is about ensuring that every young woman, young man, every child who grows up in the Sadc region will realize their dreams of getting a job in the near future. Prosperity is within our reach. We know we can do it as an integrated community, and therefore, this is the reason why we work harder and stronger every day to ensure that this integration, which has begun with the Cfda, continues. We cannot do integration, we cannot benefit from the Cfda if we do not have the conditions that ensure that our economies are competitive. In that spirit, and again, my sister has spoken about the issue of climate change, and I'd like to stop here and take a few moments to recognize and sympathize with those who suffered from Cyclone Indai. As you know, the Secretary General of the United Nations did visit the region to pay his respects, but also to emphasize the importance of climate change. Indeed, Africa is only 2% of the contribution of carbon dioxide into the environment, but we do know, and I think we are living it, we do experience the fact that we are suffering the most. An important part of climate change is energy. An important part of industrialization is energy. Today in the Sadc region, only 5% of the rural areas in the Southern Africa region have access to electricity. There is quite a dichotomy in the region. 71% access in the urban areas of Tanzania, 7% in the rural areas. 80% access in the urban areas of Zimbabwe, 14% in the rural areas, and the numbers go on. We need to ensure, in particularly as we know that our women are in the rural areas, that there is more energy. But it's not just any kind of energy. We need renewable energy, because even if we don't contribute to the climate change problem, by continuing to use fossil fuels, we will in the long run contribute. And the small amount that we pollute into the environment actually translates into huge amounts for our healthcare systems, as it is our women who continue to burn fossil fuels and suffer from poor cooking services. So in the Sadc region, you have made a lot of progress improving energy with the South African power pool. But there are still some challenges, and we hope that as we move forward to ensure that industrialization takes root, not only will we increase access, but we will improve the institutional capacity to move and to transition from fossil fuels and coal to more clean energy. We at the ECA have launched a program called Build Back Better, which is essentially to help countries understand how their infrastructure can be less vulnerable to climate change. We are working with many countries today that suffered from Cyclone Indai to ensure that as we build back better, we build back more resilient, and we build back stronger. The second area that I wanted to talk about in the region is the condition of our people, poverty. Poverty is an important part of the SDGs, as an important part of the aspirations of Agenda 2063. We know that we stand in a region which is still suffering from the scourge of poverty. We have not collectively gone below the 50% line for all our countries. We still have, in many of our countries, people living below the poverty line. In some places, 78% of the population is still below the poverty line. But more importantly, even as we celebrate some of the increases in GDP per capita in some of our countries, 10 of the most unequal countries in the world are in Africa. Of those 10, 7 are in the Sadc region. This means that even where we are growing, we are not delivering equality. We are creating a more unequal society, and we must stop and re-question the way in which we are creating and generating growth to ensure that it's not just growth that leaves some people behind. The SDGs do say we will leave no one behind. This inequality is in particular, and it is being contained and maintained because we have poor competition policies and because of our education policies. On the competition policy side, and this is going to be the next phase of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, it is crucial that we look at the linkages between trade, intellectual property, and investments. Why intellectual property? Because as our youth create new ideas and as our youth come up with new ways of delivering services, of trading, and the whole point of the CFTA is not just about production, but it's also about how we move goods from one place to the other. A lot of that will be happening in the digital age, and we have to then ensure that we level the playing field, that we ensure that the private sector, that is the one that creates jobs, is able to compete fairly, predictably, and consistently in the sub-region. The Economic Commission for Africa has launched a Digital Center for Excellence, working with the rest of the UN family to ensure that this digital age leaves no one behind. We are also working with many members of the Sadc community, Seychelles, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and others to ensure that this happens. Education is the fastest way to lift a girl out of poverty. We know that if we can lift many girls out of poverty, we will lift our continent out of poverty. As I stand in the country of the President, Julius Nyerere, he once said, education must provide for 3 things: an inquiring mind, an ability to learn from what others do, and a basic confidence in our own position as a free and equal member of society who values others and is valued by them for what they do and what they obtain. I think as we stand here today in the country of His Excellency, former President Julius Nyerere, who is a champion for Africa, these words on education must resonate to all of us, that our girls must go to school, our girls must ensure that they don't get left behind in the digital age. In conclusion, Your Excellencies, allow me to take from a quote of Nelson Mandela, and I promise President Hage Geingob I'm not going to repeat yours. I dream of an Africa which is in peace with itself. I dream of the realization of the unity of Africa, whereby its leaders combine in their...
Ile #1 Lifestyle TV, Clouds TV, sasa inapatikana kwenye kingamuzi chako cha Azam, channel namba 112. Channel namba 112. Uhitaji kulipa chochote, kuwa na kingamuzi chako tu. TV yako pendwa Clouds TV inapatikana ndani ya Azam Decoder, channel namba 112.
Umefanyaje? Mimi napiga tu bila kuangalia.